Hello again, everybody. It's been quite a while, but hoping to get back into the swing of things and see if I can continue to find time to make these videos. Right now, Hjalti has just finished up on the top of the Throat of the World, and he wants to go down and talk to the Greybeards and get their advice about what to do from here. Not that he has the greatest amount of confidence in their wisdom, but they certainly would probably know the most about the current state of Alduin, whose soul he did not get to absorb. That's rather an important detail. After that, though, he has other plans. There's their monastery. It's great to be able to have this super short shout. Oh, I just fell through part of the world. Okay. No harm done, though. With this shot protecting from the cold and from falls, he's pretty comfortable doing this at this point. He also just killed Alduin, so he feels, literally on top of the world. Mission accomplished, destiny fulfilled. Now he can do what he wants with his life, as a great hero, no less. That's a good starting point which to build just about any kind of ambition he might have in mind, and he has quite a few. Alright, so, we'll get in there, see what the Greybeards think. It's getting to be early in the morning when he would have a hard time traveling about. So, he'll probably sleep until nightfall. Now, where are they? Apparently they're not going to make a big deal out of this and greet me when I come back from having saved the world. But at least Arngir was being a silly fatalist about that anyway, and acting as though I should simply let all of them destroy it, even though it was clearly the will of the gods that Dragonborn returned to save it. Where are these guys? Ah. Why are they here? I don't know.
I can see it in your eyes. You've seen the land of the gods and returned. Does this mean it is done?
You can also probably see it in my haversack with foods from Sovngarde.
Then it is done at last. Perhaps it was all worth it in the end.
Yeah, perhaps.
You've shown yourself mighty, both in voice and deed. In order to defeat Alduin, you have gained mastery of dreadful weapons. Now it is up to you to decide what to do with your power and skill. Will you be a hero whose name is remembered in song throughout the ages? Or will your name be a curse to future generations? Or will you merely fade from history, unremembered?
That part sounds unlikely, but then again, that did kind of happen to the champion of Cyrodiil.
Will be clear to you.
Hell, he's not going to happen to him, not after all this work.
And focus, Dragonborn. Your future lies before you. We are all in your debt, Dragonborn. Perhaps, perhaps not. Dragons are not like normal mortal creatures, and Alduin is unique, even among dragonkind. He may be permitted to return at the end of time to fulfill his destiny as the World Eater. But that is for the gods to decide. You have done your part.
Hjalti is fairly content with that. He's not going to bring up this awkward detail at the moment. He'll think about that. But for now, he's thinking about finding a place to rest. I do always forget where the bed chambers in this place are. It's one of the few places in Skyrim I have trouble navigating for some reason. Ah, here we go. Never did find any mead in Sovngarde. I'll have to deal with lesser drinks. So, time for a meal. Certainly some apple pie, and bread, and cheese and wine from Sovngarde. and then sleep until just about nightfall. And then, it's not lost on Hjalti that, having been transported into another dimension, and then abruptly transported back to, for some crazy reason, the throat of the world, he has basically been teleported, with nobody in all Tamriel except the Greybeards having any idea where he is or how he got there. So if there was ever an opportunity for him to go about with his movements untracked, this is it. And now that Alduin is dead, some other people have moved to the top of his hit list. One of them is whoever this twerp Mirok who tried to kill me before was. This so-called Dragonborn who failed to kill Alduin. So, Hjalti is now going to go, with complete stealth and nobody knowing where he is, cross country. This is a good location, I suppose. One where nobody is and where he's traveled that route before. I've done this walk basically several times, so I'm going to skip over that, get to the interesting part. Because... oh, dragon, don't want to fight that. I have never ever played the Dragonborn expansion before, and I'm going to do that now for the first time. Enemy nearby, huh? Don't tell me those are Mirok cultists. That would be an absurdity. The whole point of this was to avoid them. But I think those might be Mirok cultists. Oop. No. Yeah, we're not dealing with that. Or at this dragon. Oh, okay. So, the mammoths are going to just pancake the wolves there. I'm going to, in character, say that those were definitely not Mirok cultists, because there's no possible way for them to have known where I was or what I was doing. I'll just keep navigating my way cross-country unseen by anybody. If I can find a straggling passerby, Hjalti is feeling very thirsty. Somebody who no one would miss, who deserves it, would be nice. Despite what it says about, blood-starved vampires being hated and feared, nobody, if you have the Dawnguard expansion, even notices. It does mean that I'm very vulnerable to fire, which I don't really want. I don't usually climb over rocks like this, but Hjalti would be taking this most arduous and awkward and unseen path. He only has one chance to do this by complete surprise and catch Mirok with his pants down, as it were. So I need to find a boat that can take him across. That will probably require that he either get into the water, which he hates doing, but could do, or find some stealthy way across. But as a super ultra vampire, he's also basically impervious to frost. So he might not hate getting wet as much as he normally would. Well, now that I'm kind of in vision range, then he's going to take off his creepy mask and his heavy boots, put on some ordinary shoes. So, how to get across there? I might be able to use a shout to get here without getting wet. I don't think I can quite reach. I think if I hit sides of this boat, I won't be able to get aboard. I could also use Become Ethereal and be untouched by the water. I think that's what he's going to do. Just board their boat, talk to the captain
If you're looking
immediately.
for
I try to
passage
set off
to
before anybody can
Solstheim,
notice me and do anything about it.
that. I'm not going back there anymore. It's hard.
This is the boat, of course, that came over here and
I
led the guys who
remember those
attacked
people
me,
with the
according to the
masks
note.
coming on board. Then, the next thing I remember, I was here, and they were gone. And that's not right, losing whole days like that.
No, clearly some kind of
There's
magic.
something strange going on there for a while. But after this, I'm done. If
No
you
time
won't
to
listen
explain.
to me, I'm not going back there.
Show them the note about this if I have to.
All right. You have a
No sense in making enemy out of him with
Taking
threats.
you back to find out who sent them is the least I can do. Besides, maybe you can put a stop to whatever's going on over there. I owe them a bit of payback myself.
So, Hjalti's never been to Solstheim, but he knows it's the island on the borderline between... Oh, the text is telling you right there. As far as he's concerned, it is still part of Skyrim. The High King lent it to the Dunmer, but it's Skyrim. The law might say otherwise, but he is less concerned with that than with the ancestral homeland of human people. There's a strange green glowing spire over there. That seems important.
This is Ravenrock. Can't say I'm all that glad to see it again. Good luck. Maybe you can figure out what's going on around here.
I'm sure I can. I'm very curious to find out myself, because... I mean, I know some things about it just from having read this or that here or there, but next to nothing. Neat little cinematic showing you the city as you approach, I guess. Wow, there's only so much time before word about me gets around. Cool, different architecture here, you know. It's kind of semi in the Dark Elf style from Morrowind, semi in more Skyrim influenced style. Are they going to have a conversation? Who is this Dark Elf?
I don't recognize you. So I'll assume this is your first visit to Ravenrock, Outlander.
The
State
usual
your
friendly Dark Elves. I'll go with
You
this
picked one of the
and play it
worst
off.
places in Morrowind to do that, but
In Skyrim, you mean?
just remember, Ravenrock is sovereign territory of House Redoran. This is Morrowind, not Skyrim. While you're here, you will be expected to abide by our laws. Any questions?
So, Hjalti doesn't know much about this, so he'll ask that
Ravenrock
politely.
started out as an imperial settlement. The Empire decided to abandon it, just as my people were first setting foot here.
Okay, so once
They
again, it's
left
not
the
really
town
a Dark
in
Elf place.
shambles. But when House Redoran took over, we turned it around and it became ours. And even if it's been a struggle to make this island livable, we're proud to call it home. Remember, we're watching you. Giolan, I was starting to wonder what happened to.
Guards and this silly kite in this armor. So, he's going to investigate that glowing object that seems obviously important, especially because there's almost nobody in the way, despite it being a weird, magical glowing object. Are they talking about blood? That sounds appetizing. Well, there are people around here after all. I guess I'll have to be spotted by a few. Strange new plants. I have no idea what they do alchemically.
Here in his shrine.
This sort of dark elf cult. See a guardsman over there.
That they have forgotten.
Well, he seems spellbound.
Here do we toil.
They're all chanting something.
You there. You don't seem to be in quite the same state as the others here. Very
I
interesting.
could say the same to you.
May I ask what it is you're doing here?
I guess I only have the option to be honest. Seems
Yeah,
dangerous and
yeah.
stupid.
It sounds familiar, and yet I can't quite place... Oh, wait, I recall. That makes very little sense. Nirak's been dead for thousands of years. I'm not sure.
Several possible interpretations in this setting, of course.
Perhaps it has some relation to what's going on here. Quite unexpected. I'm afraid I can't give you any answers, but there are ruins of an ancient temple of Nirak's toward the center of the island.
The temple of his.
If I were you, I'd look
Wonder
there.
if it's devoted to him or one that he used to run.
Building something, clearly. And yet they don't seem to have much to say about it. I'm very interested to find out what happens when they finish.
That sounds dangerous. Oh, that's Red Mountain behind him, exploding.
Certainly not. Doing so would interfere with whatever.
Okay, so he's clearly an idiot.
I would be unable to see how this all turns out.
Probably a wizard, but nonetheless an idiot.
How through them,
He's also really out of the loop.
Fascinating test subject.
and when the world shall listen,
I feel like getting closer to that weird thing. Not without knowing more about what it is. They're all alive, at least. I wonder if this Nelloth would mind if I drink someone's blood.
And when the world shall see.
Well, if I head directly toward the temple, I'm likely to be spotted for people to know what I'm trying to do. Can't have that, because I don't know how powerful this Mirok is. So it's best, I think, to take a more circuitous route. See if I can find my way through partly unseen and then loop back. Use detect life to spot people who might spot me and avoid most of them. I don't need to be unseen, I just need to get there before they can possibly mount any kind of intelligent defense. Odd that nobody seemed to care about several guards having gone off duty and just started working on this strange object. Well. So, the island is covered in ash, of course, from Red Mountain blowing up over there. It's pretty neat. We've been hearing about, the Red Mountain disaster. What is going on here? Non-living things. Ash spawn, they call them. Attacking who or what? Well, they resisted that pretty well. I wonder if they resist fire. Maybe they are weak to frost. Of course, he would be too as a dark elf. So I need to avoid hitting him. I should probably put on useful items. Let's go with the Circlet of Destruction. Boots of Fire Resistance sounds reasonable. And I'd love to put in War Archive, but I can't really give away my secret identity. How about the Necromancer's Amulet? And then I'll pull out that staff, and then I'm going to conjure up an Atronach. Probably Frost, because they seem to be resistant to fire, what we're seeing here. If I can catch them all in like a multi-prong attack, that'd be good. Multi-target attack, I mean. No idea who this guy is, or if he's quest relevant in any way at any point. We'll find out. Maybe I'll pull this out in one hand and just blast them in lines together. Ah, one almost down. Unless they have somebody to get back up. Did that kill it? I can't even tell. This Veleth guy is pretty sturdy. Or he's, just some kind of quest NPC. Given how sturdy he is, it would probably be unwise to drink his blood. Plus he's an elf. Ooh, he's down. Oh, well. Can we finish them? Nice. Did they destroy this farm? I'm just gonna finish him. Sure.
I wish I could have said the same for my man. Some of the Redoran Guard. Me, I don't care what they're called. All I know is they're a danger. I was going to search for clues that might lead me to wherever they're coming from. I know it isn't the best place to start, but we know they've been coming from this direction.
I'll pretend to be friendly to them.
Good.
If they attack farmers, Kelpie does care.
Besides, I don't feel comfortable leaving Raven Rock behind. We were searching the farm when the ash spawn ambushed us. Have a look around and see if you can turn up anything useful.
This fellow seems friendly.
I might know someone, or maybe not. I can't. I just can't be sure.
His voice seems to
Think
change
maybe
suddenly.
it had something to do with a temple, a temple here on the island. Does that help?
It kind of helps to know that everybody knows of him, but nobody knows him.
I don't. All I know is that the Ashspawn are coming from this direction. Good thing the farm's been abandoned for a long time.
Oh, good.
I'd hate to see what they would do. Not sure. Not certain who lived there. It was already a pile of... No one knows, really. They started attacking the bulwark a few weeks ago.
I guess that's what they call their wall.
My men were able to kill them. We've had 2 other assaults on the bulwark. at
The
different
chiming
spots
would
on
matter
the
a
wall.
lot.
I know it sounds crazy, but it's almost like they're... Exactly.
It doesn't really sound crazy. No reason to think that they're unintelligent.
And we need to find out who or what it is.
I wonder if it's Mirok.
Report back to me if you discover anything unusual.
So, some other kind of creature over there. Bit hostile? Yep. It's another ash creature. I wonder if that means it's resistant to fire. If it is, it's not very resistant to fire. So I'm just gonna give it up for now. Alright. What do you drop, little creature? I've got a creepy jelly I'm not going to take. I'm not going to eat that without knowing more about it. Okay, you can keep your guts and innards. What's that? What is buried there? Oh. Fine. Well, this island seems infested with creepy crawlies. Good to know that I can detect them to detect life, but they register as false friendlies. What the heck is this? Well, he's helping me out. Alright.
Careful with those flames, unless you plan on torching something.
Doesn't have anything to say. Well, at this point, Hjalti is absolutely starving, and even an elf will do.
Don't know what that was, but don't try it again.
That'll do. Those are netches, those weird jellyfish creatures. They're used as, I don't know, cattle, kind of, by Dark Elves in Morrowind. That must have brought them here. What's this? Is this like a Nord ruin here, or something else? I'm not sure where on the island I am, so I'm just kind of exploring about. I think I've gone around the city far enough that at this point, nobody will necessarily see me coming if I head back toward Mirok's temple. So here's a good place to do that from. Excavation, and somebody down there. By the looks of it. I'm quite fascinated to find out everything that's going on here, so I'm sorry if I'm doing things in a stupid order or something. I just don't know what's going on.
What am I going to do? With me? What's the matter with you? Sorry, I've just had a lot of hawk-faced cowards coming by to mock my efforts. It probably can't hurt to tell you. You look mostly honest.
Oh, certainly.
The name's Rollis. Rollis Sedaris, out of Moorhold. I've got a financier waiting for me back on the mainland. Sent me here in the interests of obtaining some rare antiquities. The relics of Arzador.
Well, that certainly piques Hjalti's interest.
Disaster right quick, let me tell you. You come out of the northern Ashlands, you don't expect things to go easy.
The Ashland is probably referring to Vardenfell, the island where Morrowind was set. Most of Morrowind, for those who don't know, was not actually in the mainland of Morrowind. It was only in the volcanic island of Red Mountain, called Vardenfell.
Buried in the ash, like most other things on this blasted island. Dug out a pile of the stuff taller than me just to find the barrel. Excavating isn't exactly my specialty. Even if it was the ash storm, you think I've got that kind of money? No, I only get paid on delivery. Can't afford to go out of pocket for 1,000 septims on this. Takes money to make money, all that rot. There's a lot of it at the other end, but I can't get there.
Well, Hjalti has been wondering what to do with his gigantic pile of money, but I'll ask you about this
You ever
first.
hear of Azador?
Hjalti probably
He
has.
was the
Seems like a
first
person who'd be a
great
famous
Nord
human
enchanter,
figure.
Maybe even the first
Kind of person Hjalti
human
would
to
really
master
admire.
Elven methods. His best work was buried with him, though.
Probably the kind of great
Said
ancient
that my
mage he always
patron
looked up to.
calls The relics are supposed to be down in his tomb. Now they're old and they're powerful. Come, what are you? We can sort out the details.
Hjalti doesn't necessarily trust this guy, but he does have like
But
money
for
to
now,
burn if he needs
I'll
to.
manage the dig.
And
If you
this sounds
permit.
very promising. Not just as potentially
have
useful
gold.
objects, but also as
It's all
important
here.
human relics.
Well then, looks like
And
I've
a potential
good work
useful
to start on. I'll head back to Raven
sign that he can use later on to
Once we've got something
legitimize his status as a hero of humankind.
Pleasure doing business with you, partner. I'll see you soon.
If he's going away, I'm going to read his journal. Long journal, apparently. Moving on to Solstheim next, chasing after vague rumors of this Kolbjorn barrow. My patron seems confident we can find the relics of Azadal out here. I'm a bit skeptical, but oh, that's unfortunate. As long as he pays well. He hasn't been paying well. Unless... okay, whatever. Initial prospects look poor, to say the least. I was sure I had my map wrong at first until it became clear the place had just been lost to the ash. I'll dig out as much as I can, maybe see if I can recruit some of the local residents to help me out. This doesn't really match up to what he's been saying, so Hjalti gets more suspicious. Haven't seen anyone since I got out of Raven Rock, but I keep hearing conversations and whispers around me, so I just need to track them down. Well, he might be a madman, or there might be some sort of sorcery at work here. Hjalti wants to find out more. But for now, this person is heading toward Raven Rock and has seen him here, so it's best that he sets off in some other kind of random direction. And once he's out of sight, he'll put on his mask and get to work. Alright. Murok's Temple coming up. Is that a human or an elf? Is that like a Spriggan? Oh, it's a Spriggan. Oh, a burnt Spriggan. Well, charcoal usually combusts pretty well, but I'm betting that I need to use frost here. Maybe I should hotkey the frost spells instead of the fire on this island. Seems like there's a lot of fire-resistant things so far. Which, I will admit is at least a nice change of pace from how it's normally like everything is weak to fire and ice is garbage. Oops. Sorry, man. Wow, this thing is really sturdy. I don't think I'm going to bother fighting it. That looks like a really boring fight to me. So, Atronach, you handle this. I defer to your expertise of being large and dumb and aggressive, like that creature. I especially don't want to deal with that if it can heal themselves like normal Spriggans can. The day may come when I'm forced to find out about that, but it is not this day. Is that another one over there? I think it is. And some buried ash creatures over there, plus some non-buried ones. Oh, greenery. That's nice to see. It is cool to have this varied terrain here. What is this? Creep cluster? Okay, that grows back in the mainland. Houses coming up. To avoid seeing any people, or any people seeing me while I'm wearing this creepy mask. But what is that glowing stuff? Ooh, emeralds. And a dead person. That's a shame. No information? Wow, just a whole cart full of gold here. I don't trust the apple pie. Now, what would explain what they're doing here and what killed him? Ah, Nord meat. I cannot say yes to that fast enough. In fact, I think Hjalti will sit down here and drink some Nord mead and have a hearty meal, and then continue up on his way. He was kind of hoping whatever had killed the miner would emerge at that point. Give him an opportunity, but apparently not. Is that Murek's temple? Oh, this island's not actually that big. I can make pretty good progress covering it. Well, they would probably expect me to start at the foot of whatever that structure is, so if I come around from the top, it'll help me with this ambush I've got in mind. Looks like we've left a lot of the ash and kind of gotten into this more typical Skyrim area of snow. There might be a cave up there, judging by the mist blowing out of it. Caves can be dangerous. Wouldn't want to have a cave creature come up behind me. An undead being of some sort? Well, let's check.
Lost!
Several undead beings. Alright, what are you?
Hold, traveler. We mean you no harm, but be on your way. Leave us in peace.
Undead of some sort.
Leave us in peace.
They've seen my mask, but they can't know who I am. I'll just go some other direction and disappear from sight. I don't like that. They might come up behind me later on. But he doesn't want to start a fight with them without knowing what's going on. So jumping into an unknown situation, and although he's willing to be merciless, he doesn't do so without cause. Now, I'm curious about all these strange and bloody things I'm finding. No doubt there's a story here which I might well want to discover. But Hjalti is focused. More living beings, a lot of them. From this vantage point, you could probably kill them if we had to. More of these workers, it seems. Mindlessly working.
And when that world will cease to be.
Oh, that's ominous.
Here.
He doesn't like having all those people around him, but he is confident in his powers as the Dragonborn to get him out if need be. They all seem friendly, at least. Well,
That we might remember.
By night we will
if they're truly inert and incapable, somebody's talking.
by day was
She seemed
You
more
must
active.
fight against what is controlling you. We must leave this place.
Far from ourselves.
Isra, can you hear me? You must leave this place. You there. What brings you to this place? Why are you here?
Seems like I can trust her from what I'm seeing
I
so
am
far.
Freya of the Scar. I am here to either save my people or
Stylish armor.
avenge them. I am unsure. Something has taken control of most of the people.
And most of the other people seem very
Makes them
unperturbed
forget
about that for some reason so far.
and work on these horrible creations that corrupt the stones, the very land itself.
Hjalti has heard vaguely of the traditions of these people of the
says
Skull,
Mirak has returned to
but doesn't understand it
Solstheim,
fully.
but that is impossible. Then you and I both have reason to see what lies beneath us. Let us go. There is nothing more I can do here. The tree stone and my friends are beyond my help for now.
I guess I get a follower
We
for
need to
this
find
quest.
a way into the temple below.
That's okay.
There are few of us left unaffected by this curse. My father Storm, the shaman, protects them in the village. I fashioned an amulet to guard me against whatever has taken hold of the skull, but it is the only one of its kind.
Could probably fashion more and
If I
help bring your
cannot
friend
find
out.
a way to save them, there is no hope. His story is as old as Solstheim itself. He served the
There's
dragon.
somebody trying to fight. Oh, okay.
There.
Yeah, what happens when you let your guard down? These people are throwing fire. Are they dark elves? Are they... I don't know. Who's fighting?
Your master cannot.
Well, I'm gonna save this person who knows a lot of information. That's
Help you
extremely important. Information is everything. Alright, so I should probably have summoned the Frost Atronach instead. I also probably should not have come up here with my mask on, but I thought I'd protect my identity from these possible cultists. So.
That they have forgotten.
I guess she'll only know me as a person with a mask on. Oh, he's got a ward up, huh? Well, you can't face that in every direction. Valuable stuff. If I cared about money, I'd be happy to have it. Even I can't pass that up. Is she running in? Are my answers running away from me? Get back here, answers! Alright, I guess that's where we leave off for now. Hope you enjoyed that. Have a great day, everyone.